What's up, Instagram? I'm Yogi Chris, Captain of IMC Nation. Oh, what just happened? Oh man, this Instagram account just ended the live stream. Why did it do that? Starting over really quick. Done, done. Okay, take two. What's up, Instagram? What's up, YouTube? Everybody, I'm Yogi Chris, Captain of IMC Nation, streaming to you here from Eden House. That's base one, the main base where the main core of IMC Nation lives. AZD lives down the street. We rendezvous with him about 3 or 4 times a week to go out with him. You follow these accounts because of AZD. That's what the clips are. The heavily tattooed guy that, yelling in the camera and spitting wisdom about game, life, all that stuff. That's AZD, Arash Sapar Dibazar. I'm Yogi Chris. And I'm here to talk to you about something he just talked about on his stream. And it's so important. It makes total sense in the game, how he teaches it. And one of the reasons why his game is not only so much better than all the other dating coaches, but it just beat that. Man, why did this Instagram just ended now too? I wonder what's going on. I wonder what's going on. Try one more time. Okay. And I see what's happening. I see what's happening. What's up, Instagram? Yogi Chris. I was going live on the same account on two different devices. That was incorrect. So that's why every time I go live on one, it cancels the other. So let's try this one more time. Boom. There we go. All right. What's up, Instagram? I'm on two Instagram accounts now. TikTok, YouTube, etc. Quick intro again. I'm Yogi Chris, Captain of IMC Nation. Oh, god damn it. The fuck? All right. Now we're on. What's up? I'm Yogi Chris, IMC Nation, Captain, streaming to you from Eden House, the main house here in Las Vegas, where the core of IMC Nation lives. This is where AZD comes to do the streaming from the studio, where you see the textured background and everything. And this is where the core group lives that we go out with as frequently as possible with AZD every time he goes out. We're meeting him out, rendezvousing with him. When you come and do what's called residency, you'll live here. So you'll be in person for all the lectures that he's here, and you'll be in person in the vehicle with us when we go. The vehicle can only fit AZD and four other guys. One's the driver, one's me. So there's room for up to two residents. So we take up to two residents at a time. Residency is how you come and learn, or at least get a reference for the game. The way you learn game from AZD is going to be all the lectures, classes, anything you can, any piece of content, even his Instagram or TikTok, any piece of content AZD puts out, you can learn game from. And I do. I make it my business to do that. What's going on here? So you also need a reference. You need an in-person to visibly see what's an Apex player look like. What's that sound like? What's the interactions like? Man, you can read books of negs and ways to tease girls and how to read body language and all that stuff. But when you see it real life, live action, it's the difference between playing Call of Duty and going to war. And when you're hearing the concussion waves, the shock waves of explosions and the sounds and the screams and all that, whoa, when you're in the game, in field with AZD, the game is it takes on a really real flavor, really, really real. And then all the teachings make sense. Now, if you come in person and you don't have any teachings under your belt, you haven't been to his classes, you haven't done his advanced trainings, most of it's going to go over your head. It'll still be impressive, and you'll be like, what the fuck? There's one guy that moved here to Vegas, of all the guys that moved here, who he still came and did residency, but he had never studied with AZD. He was gifted a residency. Occasionally, AZD does that. He just goes on intuition. And the guy loved it. He went back to California, fixed his life around in like 2 to 4 weeks or something. He moved here. Now, he's also fallen on his face. He hasn't been able to keep up because he was missing all of the discipline training. There's there's a few core pillars of AZD's teachings that we're designing the website right now. It should be done by tomorrow night. So even now, it's looking pretty good. It just needs more touch-ups. But I've laid out all the curriculums of AZD's advanced teachings, and that's, I mean, anything you're missing, you're going to be missing in the game. But I get it. You're not going to buy everything he's ever done up front. You might buy the free newsletter at first, free. You might go free YouTube, free Instagram, free TikTok for a while. You might buy a $17 ebook or a $27 audio file or something. You might buy a $97 lecture at some point, only if it makes sense to you. Like nobody can yank the money out of your wallet, but if you're watching the account, if the philosophy makes sense to you, because I'm just a distant echo of a student repeating what I've learned, not just like copying what he's saying, but what makes sense to me, and I'm saying it out loud to you. And that's what I do in my relationships, and that's what I do in life, and that's what I've been doing. So this is what I'm doing now. So the game is won with a tribe. You win the game with the tribe. And one of the reasons why all the other dating coaches fail is because their tribes are so weak. And anytime you see like a business team or some kind of team or group, uh, that's great. First of all, they're not a team when it comes to women. And you don't have to be on earth too long as a man to realize that every powerful group, a woman infiltrates it, finds romance with two or more guys, and then it breaks the group apart because the guys compete. Because a guy will destroy his empire. Julius Caesar, like, what was that guy? Mark Antony destroyed Rome because of Cleopatra and all that shit. And Cleopatra played Caesar against Mark Antony, or whatever his name was. I like the picture in the back. Very interesting. Yes, sir. Designed by my girl. Oh, that makes sense because you're a girl. I think you're a girl, Nicole. Uh, so whatever group guys are operating in is as fragile as their game. And good luck. I mean, you can search and find groups of guys, but good luck finding a group of guys that have the game won, or they're even thinking about that. The closest you'll get are the pickup guys. Sometimes you maybe certain gangs that have a heavy pimp culture in them may have something like that, but this isn't pimping. Not only is that a crime and unethical, in my opinion. I mean, it's ethical in nature, so you can do what you want, but it's not. You're not going to be a king as a pimp. You're not going to have a queen as a pimp. And so, how ethical is it as a man if you're selling yourself short and you're not going to be an emperor of an empire? I mean, I guess you could be your own emperor of your own little empire as a pimp. Some pimps are gang leaders and things like that. But that's just not what I'm doing. It's not what I admire. I admire what AZD's doing. I've also never seen a pimp get women as beautiful as AZD. So, you know, put that aside. Then you have the pickup and dating guys, and they all have like wingmen and students and guys that come around, but the students are it's a high flow through. Not a lot of guys stick around. The wingmen are few and far between, and it's a different level of tribe. At the very best, there might be one or two groups of guys who are like wingmen like that. And it's usually just one or two guys that are wingmen, and they don't have a dangerousness to them. So their ability to utilize the team effect is as limited as their dangerousness. I mean, you could have a team of dweebs versus two beasts. Maybe a team of dweebs could beat one beast, but could you beat two? You could beat one beast because a beast of a man because he can't cover his back. But if you have two guys that are beasts, man, you could have a team of 10 dweebs. Now they might have knives, but they might have knives. They might have guns, but they might have guns. So the team and you're not necessarily getting the last time I'm finished got in a fight was never. Nobody wants to fuck with us, but also we just haven't been in a fight. We have confronted situations, but we're not confrontational like that, creating conflict. So but how many conflicts were averted because the team was so powerful, looked strong, carried themselves like they were dangerous? There's probably a lot of conflicts that individual guys in our group would have gotten in if there weren't eight other guys right behind them. And so a lot is avoided. So when you have that kind of power and the guy backs down, what do you think happens to the woman? When the woman is confronted with a team of good-looking guys that all carry themselves like that, her nature is triggered. And AZD's game is natural game. Naturally, the woman wants to submit to a higher authority, a bigger power than her. Survival value of a man. And then you just need to know how to lead. Because if you don't know how to lead a woman when she's submissive to you, compliant to you, then you are telling her you don't have experience with women. And that's unattractive. She's attractive to power and authority and leader of men, all the attraction switches, but mainly pre-selection. And if you don't have another woman on your arms when you're getting her, then your experience as a man, and how does she know your experience? Because you know what you're doing. You lead like you know what you're doing. Have you ever known what you're doing and then have you ever not known what you're doing and how the communication's different? You hesitate, you're up and down about it, you kind of stutter maybe. You say dumb shit, put your foot in your mouth. Like that's what guys do with girls because they don't know how to lead. Always. So the team not only gives you power when you're in field, but then you have accountability to your team. So you're maybe a little bit more limited in your range of expression because you can get away with a lot of violating things and off the wall goofy things if you were by yourself. When you're with the team, then your team cares. They carry reputation. If you're really goofy or off the wall, then it looks bad on them. But then there's also in our team with IMC Nation, there's a lot of acceptance of your artistic creativity. So you can dress off, you can even act off. We have a very high discernment of respect, and you have to. Adrian Garcia, Jesus, what the fuck are you doing on my stream? Jesus Christ, talk about a dropout. Talk about a dropout. What the fuck? Why would you even get on the stream? What are you thinking? You should get off right away. You're gonna be cursed. The longer you're on this stream, you're gonna be cursed until you make amends for what you've done again for like the third or fourth time. But you don't sound like you're trying to make amends, so you should probably just save yourself now and get away. Get as far away as you can. Guys, it's a lot of power when you learn how to be dynamic, how to communicate, how to influence, when you understand the deepest layers of female psychology and her instinctual urges, your instinctual urges. Bros, it's easy to take advantage of people when you know how to influence them deeply. And when you learn from AZD, you learn how to influence people deeply. That's why he puts in so much ethics. And the higher level you get, the closer to him you get in business or in trainings or going in field with him. Not the guest. The guest resident gets a lot of leeway because you're a guest. But if you're like in Vegas and you're going around him, you got to get higher and higher and higher ethics because the level of influence to be a player like AZD with 8 girlfriends that are all super fine is just, it's phenomenal. It's so unheard of. And the fact that I've been around long enough, I've seen some of the girls around for 9 or more years, and I have other girls I've seen him pick up like when it happened. I even had some interactions with some girls who later became girlfriends just because in the beginning they weren't his girlfriends, so we all interacted with her. And so I get a measure of like what's my level of game and impact on that girl, and then what did AZD do with it? And he submitted the girl. I was like chum chum with it. So when you learn what AZD's teaching, it's a long-term game. You can get sex, you can even get a girlfriend from lots of other coaches probably faster than what you would get from AZD because they're teaching you shortcuts that have nothing to do with your character or your overall lifestyle. They have to do with, and they'll say that they do work out, be healthy, XYZ, ABC, but the way that they're teaching you how to communicate is strictly for the woman. But you need to know how to communicate with everybody. That's why Adrian Garcia had such a hard time. He couldn't communicate with the guys because he had a lot of character flaws, serious, serious character flaws. And what are you going to do with a woman? The woman, even if you got a high value woman, as soon as she sees your weakness in handling situations, you're going to lose her. Because you're a loser. You need ability to handle all situations with elderly, youthful, black, white, oriental, foreign, liberal, Republican, employer, employee, homeless, injured, the beautiful woman, the ugly woman, your parents. Like, you got to be masterful at communication. When you can handle everything, then you get the woman. The woman's given to you because she's naturally attracted to the man that can handle everything. The pickup arts is trying to fool her into thinking I can handle everything so that she perceives that you can handle everything. But if you can't actually handle everything, you're going to lose her. And that's what even the greatest pickup coaches and greatest pickup artists in the world on earth still lose the girls. AZD's been with this girl 19 and a half years, second girl 16 years, third girl like 11 years or some shit. And on and on. And they're all beautiful. They all know about each other. I mean, come on. It's just so far different. And guys still think, well, if I study that long enough, I'll get there. That's not, I mean, good luck. I'm not trying to invalidate you. I'm trying to tell you, bro, if I'm right, you're about to waste your life. If you're right, then don't listen to me. But that's the risk you're taking. And I'm the guy that's a PhD, that studied all the coaches, that looked at everything available, that's been dedicated to AZD, that's analyzed it, that's streamed about it, written books about it. Like, you could say I'm so heavily invested, I don't want to be wrong. You could say that, but then show me a coach that has more success than AZD. The closest you could get is someone like Dan Bazilian, who, I mean, if I had $150 million, I'd have a lot of hot bitches on a yacht also. I've been around AZD long enough to see the quality. It sounds cheesy and gay to say the heart connection, but I see the compliance, the worship, the devotion of the woman from zero to hero, a woman that was a stranger to girlfriend level of just his standards are so high. And when you see that connection between him and the girl, I don't see that in Dan Bazilian. I've only seen whatever I've seen. I've seen probably what you've seen on the internet, but you could see AZD on the internet and you see rapport, even from 10 years ago, the rapport and connection with the girl is more than what I see in that other guy. And there's a few other guys like Dan Bazillion running around the world worth $500 million with like applications on their website to be their girlfriend. Cool, man. I guess you're kind of like Hugh Hefner, but Hugh Hefner was like pimping girls' images and whatever. AZD is like secluding his women so that it's, a precious private garden of roses and daffodils and like it's his own personal, flower pond of girlfriends. Nobody else gets to look at him, touch him, talk to him, like except other girls. So there's something that happens to the woman, her purity and goodness, and I mean she's evil, but like her essence gets to develop and blossom. You get to actually relate with the woman, not the professional working girl that's even if she's not like a stripper or dancer or burlesque or anything like that. She's a working girl, bro. She's selling her femininity. She's working well in the workplace because she's selling femininity, which is sexuality. Unless she's some kind of data analyst behind a computer, even that, she probably got the job because those data analysts needed a girl in their environment. Probably a guy was a better data analyst than her. What is a woman really doing besides nursing and child daycare that a man couldn't do better? Okay, so anything other than those professions, maybe there's like one or two others, she's selling her femininity to get ahead in life. And she's just as much of a whore as anybody else. So okay, you need a team. You need a team for the power. You need a team for accountability. You need a team for your own ethics. That's why Adrian Garcia couldn't make it around because his ethics were shit. His ability to communicate with the other guys was just total shit. And so he'd get better with women, but he kept crashing around the team of guys. Now he drops out of IMC and he's doing whatever the fuck he's doing. But I know because there's been like dozens of dropouts. Guys that have come close, got close, burned out, left. They crash. CeeLo, his wife got fat. Powerhouse, he's a drunk now. Other guy's just a goofball. Other guy's a goober that's trying to lead people, literally copying everything AZD. You could go to his Instagram, and he has one person following. It's his girl. Cool. You got one follower that's a girl. Nobody else is following you. Like, it's the long-term game to reform your character so that you're naturally attractive and you're actually a wholesome, well-rounded man, strong enough to handle the evil of the world. Because you're going to handle a lot of evil if you really want a woman under you. If you really want to possess a woman and a relationship, you're going to have to handle more evil than you're already handling. TK, you're going to have to handle even more evil than you've already handled. It takes a lot of work, and you got to go for it. You got to make your wake up time and be working 14 hours a day until you can afford training. Because there's nothing else on earth that you could study, nobody you could learn from, no books, no movies that you're going to get what AZD is going to teach you. You'll get a glimpse here or there. You watch Marlon Brando, you got a glimpse. You worked out pretty heavy and read a book on stoicism. You got a taste, but it's faded, and it's like 0.1, 0.1, 0.1 of 1% of the transformation effect that AZD would have on you. That's what his communication does. He's a master of the mind. And if you want to have multiple relationships, you got to master your own mind first, and you got to be a master of their minds because all kinds of external variables come into their mind throughout the day, and you got to handle that. Any drama, chaos you have with one girl bleeds over into the next relationship and the next relationship, and then your whole life gets turned upside down because you didn't know how to handle one girl because she was too chaotic, too evil. You got to become a master. Okay, guys. So that's the team effect. I see there's a few guys across all these platforms that are watching. If you have a question, type it or ask to go live with me. I'd love to dialogue with you about game or this AZD stuff. I'll give it, 60 seconds or whatever, but that's basically the end of the stream unless somebody, uh, you know, has a question. I'm going to answer a message really quick. So just ask to go live if you want. All right. So invite Overlord, invite Arturo Reyes, Tony Cash. I see me inviting people, but I don't see anybody asking to be invited. So that means I'm not gonna invite you. Okay, over here, I don't see any requests. Let's check this last Instagram here. Fuck. Okay, question. I need to stop procrastinating. Definitely you can help and get out of being comfortable and lost urgency. Are you still on, bro? Why don't you ask to go live? Yeah, if you're still on, just ask to go live. Otherwise, I'll message you after. But it'd be better now. Okay. What's up, JJ? Okay. Still got two people on here. What's up with that? M's, what's up? All right. Okay, everybody. Well, there's no questions. Uh, Nobody requested to go live. Let's see this guy. Can't go live at the moment. All right, bro. Well, I'll send you a message about that and, see if we can help you out. All right, everybody. Thank you. I'll see you on the next stream. Yogi Chris out. Go to imcbase1.com. That's IMCBASEONE base1.com. IMCbase1.com. Check out all the advanced curriculums we designed. We put a lot of intelligence and effort into that to make it short, to the point, so you know exactly what it is. And then I could talk with you about that. Because it's really when we have common language and common philosophy, then I can guide you further. Right now, I have to educate you on basic philosophies of AZD stuff, just so that we have some reality on the thing, so that we're not just like blindfolded reaching in the dark. Once you get the tech, then I can really show you what's up. All right, everybody? Os. You're welcome.